'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, got it!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year.
Whoa!
For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
surface.
So full of details.
Joe,
Yeah.
let's do this.
The Common Surface Savings and Loan in downtown Garage Logic brings you Garage Logic Podcast
Hey,
Yes, sir.
talk to me.
number 1549, May 21st, 2025. 92 degrees was the record high on this day in 1964, and she was as chilly as 33 degrees on the morning of this day in 1997.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner.
Hi.
Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop. John Height in the newsroom. And of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king.
I am my favorite.
And the
I
keeper
am my
of common
favorite.
sense, your mayor, Joe Sushiro.
Totally am my
The
favorite.
only guy with a wardrobe change.
What are our names, our ass names? Does
Here
anyone
they are. Joe, you are the ass hat. Chris, you are the jackass. Matthew, you are a dumb ass. John, you're such a wise ass. And Kenny is a smart ass.
Many emailers regarding the pretend fire in the boathouse. What would we name the fire?
Oh, it's a little feedback.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm already laughing. It makes so much sense.
John in Arizona thought we'd name it the smart ass fire, the wise ass fire, the dumb ass fire, but he's going to call it the ass house fire.
Ass house fire.
A house of asses.
May I ask a question?
It depends.
Is jackass higher than dumbass, or are we
yes,
on
yes,
par?
Yes, jackass is much
More
more desirable.
insulting? Oh,
That's
desirable.
more desirable.
No,
Die-
dumbass is
No.
you're scraping the
Chris.
barrel.
Okay.
These are terms of endearment. It's like when I call you guys dummies. I
Gotcha.
don't mean you're dumb.
Kenny, you'll be proud. The cat, the Siamese cat in my house, known as Benji, he was nicknamed Dummy by my 10-year-old, courtesy of Uncle Kenny Olson.
Cool.
Good tidbit of information that I have in my life now. Thank you.
Happened last night. Yep.
The George Floyd 5-year mark is this Sunday. And Bill Glahn, and there's probably a way to talk about, there's still nothing but malignant idleness at 38th in Chicago. Nothing has improved. Nothing has been cleaned.
Did you see the video?
I've seen the videos.
Yeah.
I've driven through it. I keep in touch with it. It's the degradation of the intersection. It's meaningless, and yet we're supposed to pretend this is the Shrine of Lourdes, and I'm not going to. I just can't get there. And given the age we live in, it's very difficult to talk about the whole George Floyd week and what happened there, because you'll just be labeled by the Mysterians who run this state. So there's really no way to go about it. I'm reading a Bill Glahn piece from the Center of the American Experiment. And for example, he's wondering what happened to the money that got collected by Black Lives Matter.
Good point.
There were $27 million in city settlements that went to the Floyd family. But did you remember this? Or I had not known this, or if I did, we did not make enough of it. Did you know the state legislature appropriated $133 million for rebuilding 38th in Chicago?
Oh, interesting. I wonder where that money got to. No, I
$80
didn't.
million, according to Glahn, $80 million was given by private donors to two private 501c3 charities that capitalized on the 2020 unrest. The short answer to where did the money go is that they still have about half of it. You'll recall that Kamala Harris backed the Minnesota Freedom Fund that was set up to bail out of jail the mostly peaceful rioters arrested during the arrest. Those proved to be thin on the ground, thin. So the fund turned to bailing out garden variety violent criminals. The fund recently announced it was getting out of the bail bond business. That fund took in $41 million in 2020.
Wow.
Of that 41 million, the fund immediately sent 4.5 million to the Tide Center in San Francisco. The Tide Center is a far-left political funding group with seemingly little to do with the causes championed by the bail fund.
Okay.
The fund ended in 2020 with about 35 million in the bank. In 2022, in addition to the bail bond business, the fund began giving grants to other nonprofits, handing out more than 2.7 million to 19 nonprofit groups. In 2023, the fund reported that 4 employees and 1 contractor were making 6-figure plus salaries. Another group is even more puzzling. The Black Visions Collective reports taking in $36 million in the immediate aftermath of the 2020 riots. They still retain, as of 2023, about $20 million of the original amount. But the Black Visions Collective isn't a group. It's a brand name belonging to Take Action Minnesota, a far-left political dark money outfit based in St. Paul. In 2021, Take Action used $725,000 of the Black Visions money to support the Defund the Police ballot referendum in Minneapolis, which failed. Take Back Action Visions also sent $92,500 to a nonprofit called Sex Workers Outreach Project of Walnut Creek, California.
They have interns?
In 2021, Take Action Black Visions made grants to 44 nonprofits in total, spreading cash throughout the left-wing nonprofit ecosystem. Other Black Visions grantees that year included the labor union SEIU Local 26, 75 grant, and another left dark money nonprofit called Isaiah, 183 grand. In 2022, Black Visions gave out 3 smaller grants totaling 150 grand. In 2023, Black Visions gave out just 2 grants, 175 grand. What is this page? And take 72 grand, and Take Action Black Vision sent 7.2 million to a St. Paul nonprofit, Nexus Community Partners. In 2023, the 2021 grantee Nexus reports no fewer than 6 employees earning 6-figure salaries. The CEO alone received 410 grand in 2023. I could go on. The point is that that's an outcome of the George Floyd week of protests, is that money was donated and then that money essentially was disappeared. Disappeared into the hands of so-called nonprofits, just like state of Minnesota money that you pay for is disappearing into the hands of fraudsters.
Wonder how the donors feel about that, if they even care.
Should we have a sounder? Like the evaporation?
It would be my guess that they're the type of donors who wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I don't know who they would be, but there are a lot of wealthy Mysterians. And they enjoy being Mysterians because their wealth allows them to be able to afford being Mysterians.
Yeah.
It's tough for the average Joe to be a Mysterian because you can't afford it. The tax money we pay is used to fund nonprofits in the state, and it's approaching $1 billion in fraud. Speaking of which, the deadline for the legislative session has come and gone. Now the lawmakers are working on what comes next. One piece of legislation that was left on the floor at the end of the session was a bill to create an Office of Inspector General to investigate fraud. The new position was created in response to the recently highly publicized incidents of fraud in the state of Minnesota. The bill was a priority for Minnesota Republicans. They were hopeful a bill would make its way to the governor's office this session. Monday night, 2 nights ago. The House Republicans made a last-ditch effort to pass the bill. Republican Representative Patty Anderson, who co-authored the bill, requested to have the rules suspended so House members could vote on the bill. The request received both praise and pushback from lawmakers who debated the idea for an hour. The request required a 2/3 vote to bring the bill to the House floor for an official vote. The request was denied after a 70-63 vote that didn't reach the 2/3 threshold. Anderson knew it would be a challenge to reach the 2/3 threshold, but she says it was likely her only chance to get the House to vote on the bill this session. We needed to get this done, Anderson said. Minnesotans are expecting us to get this done. Republican Senator Michael Kroon, who worked on the bill in the Senate, was also frustrated that the bill didn't get a vote. The Senate passed its version of the bill nearly 2 weeks ago by a vote of 60-7. We think it's a good bill, Kroon said. It's bipartisan. With the House, obviously, it seems like politics got in the way. Senator Heather Gustafson, a Democrat who also worked on the bill and sent out a statement to voice her frustration after the bill never received a floor vote. So there were Democrats who favored it. House Speaker Lisa Demuth was hopeful. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Demuth.
Demuth.
Namath, just like Joe Namath.
House Speaker Demuth
Herbst,
was hopeful the Office of Inspector General bill could get a vote during the special session. The bills are ready to go. They could be slipped in at any point during the special session. However, Democrat House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman says there is little to no chance the bill will receive a vote. Mm-hmm. We don't have the $9 million for it. Oh, really? So ultimately, the Senate, I don't know what that means. The $9 million to fund that new office, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
The Senate dropped it from the budget negotiations when it was clear we didn't have the money, Hortman said. Well, you had $1 billion, Hortman, that was defrauded. With a tight budget this year, money could be an issue. Authors of the bill said it would take about $9 million to create the Office of Inspector General and to hire more than 30 employees to investigate fraud in state agencies. But if they saved the state $1 billion a year, they'd soon enough pay for themselves, wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. It would be worth
Eventually.
it. Representative Anderson suspects there are other reasons why the bill was getting pushed back. She says some Democrats feel this office would have too much power. They may not like the strength of the office and the fact that it does have law enforcement power, but that's the way it is across the country. If you're going to be serious about this, you actually need to give your Inspector General the authority to investigate and make decisions, she said. And you have too many Democrats. I'm going to agree with Anderson. Too many Democrats who don't want that. Which is tantamount to saying there are too many Democrats who are benefiting, however, peripherally from the fraud.
Right. And they don't want to interrupt the money train.
Minnesotans expect us to get the fraud under control. Rook, you're going to have to take that, whatever that's making that noise, into the other room and leave it there.
You're good.
Minnesotans expect us to get fraud under control. They won't stand for this. So whether it's in the special session this year or the session next year, we're going to continue to do that. That was Senator Kroon said. Unbelievable. That should be a priority. The state is...
What is it?
I'm urinating into the wind. It just makes no sense to keep blabbing about it. Doesn't make any difference. We're governed by the wrong people. And the voters of Minnesota are terribly content with that. This is what they want. This is what they get. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
According to our guy, Blois Olson,
Yeah.
Governor Tim Walz is holding a fundraiser tonight.
For what?
Well, Blois is suggesting that he might be running for re-election, and tickets for said fundraiser start at Bell Green.
Oh, how much?
$1,250.
Where is the event?
Let me check on that.
$1,200?
Join. Oh God.
And these would be really wealthy Mysterians.
Join Andrew Zimmern.
Isn't he the chef?
Yeah. Oh.
Jesus.
He's going to
Christ.
serve bugs. And Governor Tim Walz for a dinner on May 21st. That is tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sold out.
Where? Do we know where?
You want a $4,000 seat or you just want a $1,250 seat?
I only want the $1,250.
I'm trying to find out where this is at.
If you pay $1,250, you still get to eat?
Probably. Yeah, you get the bug platter. You know, Zimmern likes to eat that
Does it
weird
say where
crap.
it is? It probably doesn't say where
I
it is.
don't think it does not, and I'm guessing it does that for security purposes.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't you love to know who goes to that?
Yes.
Zimmer, huh? Is that his name?
Zimmer.
Andrew Zimmern. Well, former KSTP employee.
Former James Avenue resident.
How you doing over there?
$4,000 for a ticket?
Well, that's if you want to sit up front, I'm guessing. You know, you can touch the garment.
He wouldn't have to
feel the
raise
cloak,
or
the
spend
power.
any money, and he would win.
Isn't that a sad statement?
Well, is it wrong?
Well, he's going to get up at the podium, and what's he going to do for 3 hours? Rip Trump and Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. Orange man bad. Vote for me. Because I'm just a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Why do we do this to you?
38th in Chicago.
Talk to me.
38th in Chicago. It's 5 years. We now know that whatever money was allotted is gone. It's been scammed and defrauded. I'm terribly comfortable saying that. What do you think? Does it mean anything to your life?
Not one bit. Not at all. Especially since I moved away.
What's the question to be asked of urban residents? Does it affect your life that 38th in Chicago is ridiculously a joke? It's nothing. It's malignant idleness. Money's been sent there and the money has disappeared. Does that mean anything to you in your life?
It just reaffirms what I think about basically everything in this state. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
No, and Chris, you're right, and that's for both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, if you're of the mind, you love what's happening there, and you like everything that's happening there. If you're not, you know.
Kenny, I take the Ron Swanson approach to politics and life in general. Just, I vote for leave me the F alone.
Wow.
Well, that's not working.
I know, but I get it completely, but that's what I want to do.
How about this? Minneapolis has 20 miles of streetlights that the copper thieves got to.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
20 miles.
Right.
That's a lot of copper.
And the same question could be asked. How does that affect your life?
What if you went solar for your streetlights?
These are all livability issues. You know, why would you want to live in South Minneapolis? Well, because our streetlights work work well. I can get through 38th in Chicago without sitting through 3 light cycles.
2 out of every 5 goes.
I can stop into Cup and get a pack of heaters and be on my way in 5 minutes. You know.
Well,
it's-
what it ultimately would be a safety issue. You know,
With
you
the
go for a
lights?
walk
Yeah.
at night
Oh, for
the
sure.
streetlights
around
absolutely.
the lake or whatever, along the creek. You'd want the lights to work, right?
Right.
So then you could say, yeah, it's going to affect my life, but not if you don't walk in that area. How does it affect your life?
You're bad at math.
Yeah.
20 miles of copper. So is that 1 out of every 3 or 4 streetlights that does it? That actually works. What's that average breakdown?
I don't know. I was watching a J. Cole's piece on this last night.
Wow.
And it turns out, it's really fascinating the way this all works. It turns out that Robin Wansley, a council member,
Yeah.
is depriving the city of the money to fix the lights because somehow she wants $500,000 of the city's $1 million budgeted for the streetlight repairs to purchase new lights for Dinkytown.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, for all I know, Dinkytown needs new streetlights. I don't know. Are they all shot too?
Even though with the construction, all their businesses are closing their doors.
She took half the money to repair all existing streetlights in the city and then jumped the line in terms of other places in our city to get the $500,000. This is according to Palmisano. What's her first name?
Linnea
Palmisano, who was interviewed as part of this story. Wansley, of course, was unavailable for a comment, but she issued a statement. How are you doing on getting me Jason Chavez? I really want that to be something you do every single day.
Okay. There's been multiple requests sent.
How about a telephone call?
Multiple requests.
Can you
have been
give me
sent.
the number? Give me the
Sure.
number and I'll take it home with me.
612.
No.
Oh.
The Dinkytown Marcy, and I would take Wansley for that matter. I think that the GLers would love a conversation between these Mysterians and a GLer about where are you taking us? What do you see?
Right.
When are we going to get there?
I couldn't
And how
agree
will we
more.
know we got there?
I couldn't agree more.
Wansley said the Dinkytown, she must represent that area. The Dinkytown Marcy Homes area sees high pedestrian and bicycle use, but poor lighting remains a key public safety concern. That's why the council approved $500,000 in December of 2024 for the Dinky After Dark lighting initiative.
Hello.
That's your Dinky After Dark. Unfortunately, this is Wansley continuing. Unfortunately, Public Works leadership recently informed my office of internal miscommunications that have created a funding gap affecting both this and other lighting projects. I'm working with the mayor's team to find a solution that ensures Dinky After Dark be a good band name.
Yeah.
Dinky After Dark moves forward without delaying other critical lighting work, including Ward 2. I remain hopeful we can resolve this collaboratively. Boy, she's got every word she needs, and all the boilerplate BS words are there: collaboratively and funding gap and miscommunication and critical, resolve, team, my staff. It's all, hey, they got the whole thing.
Come on.
Yeah. Try working on Wansley. Maybe she'd like to come in.
Yes.
I'll come to them.
Wait, you'll bring the show to them?
We should.
Just like the chimney.
Yep.
We should. Wouldn't that? I think that'd be neat.
We'll come to your office and do the show.
Well, we haven't answered the question.
What?
So this light dilemma exists in Minneapolis. Well, I don't live in Minneapolis. I have a St. Paul light condition that does affect my life. And my answer would be to, if you ask me how, I would say just aesthetically. It's not attractive. We have the old style street lights, and if one works and three don't, it's a bad aesthetic.
It's almost as if you're driving in the country.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
So my answer is it affects me aesthetically. I'm not so much worried about the safety part.
Gotcha.
I would imagine there are many residents in Minneapolis who have voted for these Mysterians who are probably a little disappointed now that the lights don't work.
What happened?
Well, they were stripped of their copper. St. Paul is going to solve the problem by putting the electrical box high enough that the thieves would have to have a ladder. I'm not making that up.
Wow.
The thieves have to bring a ladder.
So we're going to do a custom light.
Yeah, with this big box on it up top, so that the thieves that need a hook and ladder.
You think they'll start doing like a, hey, get on my shoulders?
And well, that won't be tall enough. They're going to do it taller than get on my shoulders. But it could be three guys, and then one guy, a third guy on the shoulders of the second guy.
It's like it's a Three Stooges episode.
And then in Minneapolis, they're going to go with aluminum conduit instead of copper. I didn't know that aluminium.
It's a nice setup you got there.
Aluminium in Minneapolis apparently will replace the copper.
And what are they getting for copper? About $6?
I don't know. I thought we solved that by telling the The junkyards, you can't take the copper. You got to fill out forms and stuff.
Do you know that you're sitting in Wansley's district right now?
Really?
You are in her district.
Really?
You were right. No, second ward,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So she's trying to get Dinky After Dark because those are her people. Yeah.
That sounds like a salacious TV show that's on like 11 o'clock on a Friday night.
Hey, I can't
Wasn't
go
there
to bed.
a show called Playboy After Dark?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm staying home. I got to watch Dinky After Dark.
I ain't watching with Wansley.
Yeah. Me and Robin are going to watch Dinky tonight.
Dinky, featuring nothing but white dudes.
So Robin Wansley basically is fighting for lighting for the failed academy.
Yes, she is.
All right.
Very brave.
In the meantime, you wealthy Mysterians who are going to spend $4,000 to go see Cockwaddle shove food in his mouth tonight, you're not going to have any lights.
Somebody points out on YouTube, how about this? Where is it? It's cheaper to go to a Taylor Swift concert than it is to have dinner with the governor.
You know what else would be cheaper? Give every resident of Minneapolis a good flashlight. I don't know what the streetlight situation is in Sioux Falls, but if they had streetlights, I'll bet you one thing. I bet they work. Sioux Falls is operating a little differently than we are. 290,000 people. South Dakota is very business friendly, as is Sioux Falls. No personal or corporate or state income taxes. Sioux Falls is growing as a large, well-educated workforce. The cost of living is low. The location is central. They have developed industrial parks. If you're thinking of expanding your business, starting a new business, maybe moving your existing business, take a look at Sioux Falls. Where do I want to read this? Oh, it was voted #1 best small city for business and careers by Forbes magazine. It's such a business-friendly state. Entrepreneurs are welcome. I'm sad to have to say this, but it really is the opposite of what's taking place here. I know some people personally who are looking at Sioux Falls, and I never thought that would happen. I really didn't. No personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve. Sioux Falls Development, that's one word, SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Here we go.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
We don't just have a guy when it comes to our lawn. We have a team. If you want the best lawn on the block, go with our team at professionalturf.com. They've been at it since '82. If you've already gone with the pros at Pro Turf, Two things. Make sure your lawnmower is running really good because you're going to need it every 5 days or so if you keep that lawn watered. Or better yet, hire that brat, that neighbor kid down the way. Have him mow it twice a week because your lawn is going to be so thick and luxurious that it's going to need cutting about every 5 days. But you're going to have the best lawn on the block. Schedule that free in-person lawn care analysis and estimate right now, professionalturf.com. And whether you're a first-time homeowner just facing the puzzle of lawn care or if you're very familiar with the struggle, put your lawn in the care of professionals that are going to make your place the envy of your neighbors. ProTurf, we're talking exceptional lawn care, landscape, and irrigation service. Check them out, professionalturf.com.
We got a lovely note from Kristen Livingood. She lives in the mountains of West Maryland. And she wrote a lovely email. It's very long. I won't read the whole thing, but I want to read one part of it. I'm certain I'm reading too much into this, but I wanted to point it out nonetheless. After listening to yesterday's show, this is dated today. She wrote this yesterday, but she's referring to yesterday's show. After listening to the show, I wrote down the 2 books you mentioned written by Neal Williams. That would be This Is Happiness and Time of the Child. I jumped onto the county library site where I discovered that both books were available at my local library. I initially intended to place a hold on the books, fumbled through trying to enter my library card information, but honestly, and I mean no disrespect, I thought, what are the chances someone else is going to check these out before I get there in the morning? So I logged out and figured I'd get them today. You may recall that I live in the mountains of western Maryland in a small former coal mining town. The only books in high demand typically are those that school-age kids are required to read, and they're only a hot commodity when the book report is due. Anyway, on my way to work today, I stopped at the library, walked to the shelf, but found no Neal Williams books. So I approached the circulation desk and told the young lady that although I thought my request didn't go through, I apparently placed a hold on the books last night, believing she would confirm that and grab the books from the shelf behind her. She replied, no, there was no hold on those, and they were both checked out earlier today. Joe, is it possible that there's some great coincidence at work here and that someone randomly thought to check out the same books that I did? But I believe it more likely to be that someone else in my little area heard the same mention of the books on the show and checked them out before me. At 54 years old, I can say there was a time when I was younger that you could look at the librarian and say, Alice, honey, I know you shouldn't say, but could you please tell me who checked out those books? And Alice would say, well, it was Jane Doe. But those days are gone. So I must wait until tomorrow to get the other copies sent from one of the other branches of the library. Just had to share. What are the odds?
You know what that is?
What are the odds?
That's a huge sign as to the power of
Author's Corner, Suchi style. Who will it be next?
Let's go.
She's had some terrible flooding in her area, she also refers to. Man, do you think there are more? Do you think there are other GL listeners in Western Maryland?
Oh, for sure. We get emails from people all over the place.
I got one today from here. You're going to want to
Wait,
hear
I got to
it.
have this one explained to me.
Author's Corner with Joe Souchere. The countdown continues.
What are we counting
That
down
computer
to?
is working hard on taking in all the information and spitting out an answer.
Mike Damone writes, I live in Northern Europe, and the lilacs bloomed on May 20. I think you're onto something.
Ooh.
I don't know what, but something.
All right?
And you fellas
That's
alerted
a
me.
Caliendo compliment.
What's this guy want to know?
You're doing somewhere.
This is Charlie Mallinson. Will you guys be doing a podcast at Back to the 50s? If yes, what time? Thanks. Our regular Friday noon podcast, is that correct?
I think
May 20th.
I think I can go with this.
No, June 20th.
June 20th.
June
I'm sorry.
20. Yeah. June 20.
May 20th was yesterday.
That's right. June 20th is a Friday. We will be at Back to the 50s.
Right.
More information will be surfacing. But I got to tell you, I am not a car guy, as you guys know. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm serious. It's going to be a great time.
Really? You just arrived at that?
No, I mean, I'm not even a car guy, and I think this is going to be cool.
Where are we broadcasting from?
That
because-
location is to be determined. We do think we have it narrowed down, but I have not given official word.
Just tell us.
We might be in a familiar spot.
Well, here's the other reason it's going to be neat. That's the start this year. Back to the 50s at the fairgrounds is the starting line for the Hemmings Great Race, which is going to start Saturday, June 21st, and end up in South Carolina 6 days later.
And we had conversations about this a week ago, and I can tell you that we're going to have a couple of people on the show that day involved with the race. That's as far as I can go.
I'm aware of that.
Jason Chavez, is he one of them?
No. In fact, one of us might be able to ride in the lead car.
For the
Hey,
to
Don't
win.
look at the
inconvenience.
gerbil on that wheel.
I
Reverse.
can't because I already booked something
Who
else.
said? Who said it was you?
Oh,
Boy, it's
Where
all
is-
about you.
where is Sabika, Minnesota?
She's up north by St. Cloud.
Is it by St. Cloud?
You know where Monaga is?
Vaguely.
She's over by Nimrod.
You know where? Didn't we do this all just off the air? Just
Yeah,
a few
we
minutes
did.
ago?
Yeah, but I don't
New
even
York
remember.
Mills.
It's way up
You know
there.
where-
Wait, we have an affiliate in Wadena, don't we?
KWAD, the big talk juggernaut.
The
K-Wad.
K-Wad.
Yep.
Well, there's a piece that you guys alerted me to. I was unaware of it. A man was awarded more than $2.4 million in damages after he was trampled by a bull during an event at the Nimrod Bull Bash in 2021.
Never heard of that.
Where's Nimrod?
Right here.
Up by St. Cloud?
Oh,
According to court documents, Scott Sellers was gored and thrown into the air while participating in cowboy softball. I don't know what that is. Well, it says right here. It's an event where members of the audience play softball. Audience to what?
maybe it's at a
Why don't they just say it's an event where people play softball as bulls run loose around the field? Who thought of this idea? That's not a good idea.
What
This
city
is
is this in?
America.
Nimrod. The complaint goes on to say that Sellers never signed a waiver and was told it was perfectly safe and that no one had ever been hurt during the event. But this guy was really banged up. I mean, it was a serious injuries.
The Nimrod Bull Bash.
Is it still being held?
It's the lazy man's version of running with the bulls.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to do a lot of running.
It's
Just
been
some
going on for-
evasive maneuvers.
Well, this guy
23 years.
needed emergency spinal surgery. He had intensive rehabilitation in Colorado for 75 days.
Where did he get gored?
It doesn't say where he got gored. He got gored in Sabika.
I was going to say.
no,
I think
in Nimrod.
I think he got gored in Sabika.
well,
I'm in what part of the body?
we don't know that part. And well, this is come on. This guy's suffering, man. He lost the ability to use his legs.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
He had life-altering injuries.
What was his blood alcohol level?
It doesn't say. I don't know that.
You would have to be approaching blackout drunk to do it, right?
Well, let me ask you something.
Talk to me.
So you're at Bull Rush Days,
Oh, yeah.
which I would imagine the only reason is to drink beer.
I'm propped up on the picnic table next to the fence under the tree. In a
Yeah,
little bit of
I'm
shade
sitting in
there.
the back of the pickup truck.
I got there about 10 a.m. It's now 3 p.m.
Right.
Working on my second 12-pack.
And the loudspeaker says, "Hey, it's time to play cowboy softball."
Holy ass! Get
So
me in
everybody
line.
waddles over
Sign
there,
me up.
and they're told that, well, here's what it is: you're gonna play softball, but we're letting all these bulls loose on the field. They're also running around on the field while you're playing softball.
That seems like a good way to make softball interesting.
So, if no offense against this guy that got hurt, he just was seriously hurt, but I don't think I would have done that.
No kidding.
I think I might have gone back to the bed of my pickup truck and sat there.
Even when you used to be, I mean, you say you used to have fun. And so way back when, you're in your 20s, when you were having fun, you still wouldn't do it? Not then?
maybe I would have then.
Yeah. I think we all would have.
Well, but it does sound like a dumb idea.
Well, that's why it's so awesome.
Look it up, Rook. Do they still have it?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
This didn't scare him off. $2.5 million didn't scare him off having this thing.
Nimrod Bull Bash. I'm trying to find out what the activities are.
Well,
Bull riding, live music, camping, and so much more.
yeah, softball cowboy.
What do you think was playing at the Cowboys softball tournament?
Heights Band. Well, that's a shame that guy got so banged up, but holy
that's too
mackerel. I think that
Would you play a little softball with some cows and get a little injured for 2.5?
the guy didn't get a little injured. He was seriously
These aren't cows.
seriously injured. They're not cows. They're bulls. No, we don't want to hear that.
damn it!
I don't want to hear it,
Okay,
Reavers.
all right.
You're too damn predictable. That thing is as old as dirt. We don't need to keep hearing that. Did I tell you about 20 miles of streetlights are broken? I'm not going to tell you them again. Did I tell you about 38th in Chicago? I'm not going to tell you again. And I'm giving up on you to try to find anything out on the Google.
Well, it's on, but I'm just trying to find out
what are the dates
activity.
of this summer's event?
It passed. It was June 13th and 14th.
Well, it probably didn't pass. This is May.
And also the 29th, 30th, and 31st of August.
Wait a minute. They have 2 Bull Bash days?
2 Bull Bash days.
And the first one was when?
Is going to be 13th and 14th of June.
Yep.
As well as 29, 30, and 31st of August. 2 miles east of Nimrod, we kick off Friday night with bull riding, sheep riding. Be sure to check the schedules for both events to see all the action going on.
Sheep riding.
Labor Day weekend, Nimrod Jubilee days. They don't stop.
So it's like sections. You know, you got to...
They have fun in Nimrod.
Yeah, they got great pictures.
Speaking of sheep, I have a question because I noticed on another page work that they have mutton busting. Is that riding sheep or what is that? Mutton busting.
That must be what you do when you try to eat mutton.
Yeah, I haven't had mutton for a while.
Mutton. It doesn't sound good, does it? I'm
Practice
seeing too
pen.
much fur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a break, Reavers. Don't worry about it.
Oh, last time you blew right through that stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to blow through it again.
I can tell.
Why don't we come back?
Wait. I have to ask a question because I stopped the soundbite. So just I want to, for clarification purposes, we're not doing bored, tired, old sound bites in this show anymore.
That's right.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
Got it. Yep.
That's exactly
And
right.
don't think he won't.
Hey, by the way,
What?
speaking of oldies but goodies, guess who's back? Our good friends at Harmony Spirits. I have breaking news. In fact, I'm going to bust out this old, tired soundbite by telling you that. Guess what's back at Harmony Spirits? Not back, I should say it this way.
Whiskey.
Oh, no, something so much better than that, Joe.
There's
I got
nothing really better than that.
clarification. Good morning, Chris. I hope you're having a good week. Thought I would let you know that we have released our oat whiskey at Harmony Spirits this week. It is a very unique flavor.
Willing to try it.
It has a subtle hint of honey and spice, and it's very smooth. Also, Ransom Canyon is the show that is on Netflix that is featuring Harmony Spirits. I mistakenly said the wrong show, but it's Ransom Canyon that features Harmony Spirits on Netflix, which is very cool.
I mean, you can see it on the table in the
They
ranch
have it on,
house.
yeah, they have it on the shelf in the background,
Well,
which is
I've
very
never
cool.
heard of the show.
It stars North Dakota native Josh Duhamel.
I'll be damned.
Josh Dumel.
I'll be dipped.
Dumel, sure, he's from North Dakota.
Right,
He was named.
him too. But Harmony Spirits is the best handcrafted spirits made right here in our own backyard, and they have been loyal supporters of both the Garage Logic podcast, the Weekly Scramble podcast, and they're great guys. It's Larry, it's Damon, and their tasting room is spectacular. So if you're down in that area in southern Minnesota, they have handcrafted cocktails made right there in the tasting room, but they also have some fantastic to-go samples. So if you're on the bike or whatever and you don't want to have something in the tasting room, grab the to-go. Okay, little 4-pack, and you're on your way. But check out their website. It's harmonyspirits.net for any upcoming events, and also check out them on social media, both on Facebook, which is very active, and also on Twitter. But they're great guys, and it's from grain to glass. It's Harmony Spirits, and they've been proud supporters of the Garage Logic podcast for some time. And please let them know at Harmony Spirits that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic podcast.
should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time, and this year as I sing this song, and I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see, everybody, 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see, 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Okay.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
The GL Car Care Kit, 3 products every GLer should have. And when you go to the auto parts store, convenience store, big box store, or wherever you're going to go, here's what I want you to buy. First of all, get the Seafoam. Get a can, maybe more, maybe 2 cans of the Seafoam motor treatment. That's going to keep those cylinders happy. You use it to put away toys, wake up toys, clean out carburetors, and just generally keep your daily driver running strong. Then get 1 or 2 jugs, spray bottles of Bugs Be Gone, because this stuff is a lifesaver in the summer. It literally, boy, I hate using that word, but it's so true. It just melts the bugs away. Spray it on your windshield, your front bumper. Don't worry, it's safe on all sorts of surfaces, plastic, paint, whatever. Wait for 5 minutes and then just wash them off with the squeegee thing, and they come off so easy, way better than trying to scrub them off. And then, of course, the Deep Creek penetrating oil. It works way better than any other product on the market for reviving rusty parts or keeping things working perfectly. It's the GLer's Car Care Kit. Deep Creek, Bugs Be Gone, and the engine treatment additive. Buy all 3 and give them as a gift. I love that idea. You'll be loved and appreciated for your effort. Our own local company with a worldwide reach, Seafoam.
Here is Mr. John Height.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company, and I did look up mutton busting.
Oh,
and
God.
It indeed is riding sheep, and it's for the young children.
I see.
So you take the kids, and they can hop on a...
And they would be on a small sheep.
Correct, yeah. Well,
The one
And the
I
sheep
would
be
love
soft.
to bring back, and we used to have it here in town for our 4th of July celebrations in the 70s, riding a greased pig.
Oof.
And if you can
sounds
stay
very
on
dirty.
it for a certain, like 30 seconds or whatever, you get big, big prizes.
What do you wear?
Well, that's
Speedo?
just it. It's open to, anything you want.
Hey, y'all. Here's Kenny.
I would put on a Speedo, but then have a skirt on over it and a nice A-cup brassiere. Well, probably up to a B so now.
You know what I would do?
And I'd really do it up.
I'd go Fred Bolitnikoff.
What does that
I'd
mean?
put glue on my butt.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
right.
It'd be
Do you have
tempting to
that?
go
Will you
Porky
please
Pig,
save
though,
that?
wouldn't it?
Well, you could go Porky Pig and lather the glue on your butt, but then the glue might even slide off the grease.
Yeah.
So Velcro would be.
Wait, Reavers is raising his hand. Maybe he's done it.
I have a question. Why did Fred Bolitnikoff come to mind when you were talking about glue on your butt?
Because when I think of Stickum, Fred Bolitnikoff had Stickum on his hands all the time to catch the ball.
Thought
Not on his butt.
Thought maybe Fred was into things on the road trips.
Joe saw him in the locker room one time, and then he turned around and
Football?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about some Russian leader. I've never heard of this guy.
Oakland
Fred
Raiders.
Bolitnikoff, he's a Raiders wide
Fred
receiver.
Bolitnikoff.
Isn't there an award named
When
after
he was
him?
when the Raiders were at their height of power.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. You've never
as
heard
long-
of Fred Bolitnikoff?
Oh, no, I 100% have. That's what made me think, why is glue on your butt make you think
I
of
don't
him?
know. I saw a grease pig, and I'm thinking Stickum. Fred Bolitnikoff had to stick him. I wonder what kind of Stickum it was, so I said, okay.
Hey, throw it to my butt.
Yeah, put the Stickum right on your butt and sit on the pig.
well, he had the famous cousin on your marks. So when they let the grease pig go, it's on your marks. Get set, go.
Are we still doing news?
What's on your mark? On your mark,
Karl
it's
Marx's sister, Anya. They still honor her before every race. On your marks, get set, go.
Why don't we move right along?
Richard
here?
Marks.
This
Richard.
news, I think I already said, is brought to you by North American Baking Company.
Sorry, Bilski.
Have we had any news yet?
No.
Not
Yeah, the
yet,
grease
no.
pig thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as we're talking sports, let's talk about the Timberwolves. They lose game 1 of the Western Conference Finals last night.
I don't like
as
their chances, John.
No, I don't either. Oklahoma City Thunder defeated them handily. Game 2 is tomorrow night in Oklahoma.
Well,
know,
come
the-
back and hit the shots. They didn't hit the shots.
This isn't a very novel thought, but what these playoffs remind me of is one side of town gets their 5 best guys from the playground, and the other side of town has their 5 best guys from the playground, and we'll see on the court. That's about what this is.
Okay.
But the problem is, and again, Oklahoma City is a vastly better team. I'm not disputing that whatsoever. But if you're going to call these touch fouls with guys that are flopping all over the court, well, the Wolves got no shot whatsoever.
I heard on a different channel a solution to that I happen to find myself agreeing with.
What's that?
If they're going to get you for breezing by this SGA guy or whatever his name is, then why don't you just take him down hard? As long as you're going to get the foul anyway, then beat the crap out of him.
Well, you almost said a bad word.
Beat him up.
I
then.
said the
If that's
very
the way you
same
want to
thing
play it,
last night. Then just take him out.
then
Let's
just
go.
take him out. Let's go.
If you're going to be a weenie.
As long as you guys are breaking it down, I'm going to tell you what lost this game. It was right before half when Randall had the ball. They had a 4-point lead.
Oh.
The ball was stolen. No, they had a 6-point lead. The ball was stolen
Yes.
for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
He just stood there very carelessly with it.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma City went down and scored. So what should have been an 8 or 9 point lead at half turned out to be a 4-point lead.
You
That
know,
was
and
the
as
game.
much as
There you
we
go.
all love Anthony Edwards, and he's destined for stardom, this is his time in the spotlight. We either see it now
We ain't going to see
or
it.
hold your peace.
Well,
But he's the new
22.
Carlos
Come on.
Gomez, too. He gets hurt. You got to damn near bring in a helicopter to get him off the floor and about a fleet of medics, and he's back in 5 minutes.
But no, never mind.
a
Did you
lot.
see his
I didn't
ankle?
see-
Did you
he's a
see his
little
ankle
tough.
turn when he?
Yeah, that was a legit ankle injury.
Then how did he recover from it?
Because he's a guy. He's tough.
22, and he's 22. You recover
3.
faster when you're
23.
22. All right, let's move along.
Anyway.
Shall we? In news, boy, it's been a long segment already. I haven't done.
We
any
haven't
news
done
yet.
any news.
Not one.
In news.
Is there any news, really?
There's a lot of news.
Do you really know what time it is?
Oh my God! Now we're quoting Chicago.
Yeah, as long as I get the time and the temp.
In the news. Federal court documents filed this morning show the U.S. Attorney's Office has filed a motion to dismiss a case against the city of Minneapolis, saying it no longer believes the proposed consent decree would be in the public's interest. According to the motion, the U.S. doesn't want to pursue the action anymore and, quote, withdraws its support, agreement, and concurrence with a joint motion for approval or settlement. In addition, the motion says there was an extensive review done by leadership of the current Department of Justice and Civil Rights Division. After news of the filing came out, Minneapolis city leaders held a news conference this morning and said, quote, we're doing it anyway. Mayor Jacob Fry and Police Chief Brian O'Hara stated the city is committed to police reform despite the motion to dismiss the federal consent decree. Minneapolis City Attorney Kristen Anderson had countered that with a scathing rejoinder earlier, arguing that DOJ leadership has had more than enough time to get up to speed. State of Minnesota also says its consent decree will remain in place even if the federal consent decree doesn't. Female Athletes United is suing Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and other state leaders for allowing transgender athletes to compete in girls' sports. Minnesota Attorney General, Minnesota State High School League, and several other state agencies are facing a federal lawsuit over the state's transgender athlete policy. The suit claims the policy discriminates against female athletes and violates Title IX. The plaintiffs are 3 high school girls who believe it's unfair to compete against a trans softball player. The plaintiffs are being represented by Alliance Defending Freedom and True North Legal. In 2015, the MSHSL voted to open girls' sports to trans student athletes. The federal lawsuit alleges the policy creates an unsafe environment and does not allow schoolgirls in Maple Grove and Farmington to compete fairly. The plaintiffs claim females are at significant disadvantage in this environment and cites fears of being injured. Ellison said in a statement responding to the lawsuit, in addition to getting exercise and the fun of competition, playing sports comes with so many benefits for young people. You build friendships that can last a lifetime. You learn how to work as part of a team, and you get to feel like you belong. I believe it's wrong to single out one group of students who already face higher levels of bullying and harassment and tell those kids they cannot be on the team because of who they are. Ellison said he'll respond in greater detail in court.
Ellison is a pandering cockwomble. Here's the deal. The transgender community hides behind this idea all the time that, well, this hardly ever happens. Why are you all getting so stirred up? It's happening all the time.
Everywhere.
All over the country. This BS about, oh, this never happens. It's happening.
And again.
And it ain't fair to a girl to have a guy play softball against her, period.
And if it didn't matter, then why did you decide to compete against another gender? If it wasn't that big of a deal, then why did you decide that?
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Boy, that's long. Legislative leaders set a deadline for 5 o'clock today for so-called working groups to complete work on spending bill agreements to pave the way for a special session and a balanced state budget. However, none of those working groups met in public yesterday, and it's unclear what, if any, progress has been made so far. Republican House Speaker Lisa Damas said hard decisions have to be made, and then we'll come back when the governor calls us to finish up the work of Minnesotans. DFL Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy said whenever the governor calls lawmakers back into special session, it will likely still take several days to finish the remaining bills. She said we have some big bills in front of us. E through 12 education, health and human services are significant pieces of legislation, so it may take more than one day.
Can we go back to the last story? Joe, do you see that lawsuit with the against the trans athletes and Ellison going anywhere?
No.
Do you think it'll go to trial?
No.
Do you think it'll even make it that far?
No.
Why don't we take a quick break here and hear from, I never ever call you this, so I will this time. Let's hear from Matthew.
Oh, John.
Must be mad at you.
Are you a Jonathan or just a John?
Just John. No,
just John. Okay.
John.
John.
Where are you, John?
John.
I know where you should be if you have a problem with your heating or cooling unit. You should be in touch with the Welter Heating. For almost 120 years, and that's 4 generations, the Welter family working on those air conditioning units, those heating units. And your unit is probably a little bit confused right now because it was 85 degrees, and now there's incredible furnace shrinkage because it's at 40 degrees. So see how that goes up and then it goes down. So why don't you get in touch with welterheating.com? A human being answers the phone during business hours, 612-825-6867. You can request a quote online. They serve the entire metro area for the last 116 years, and they will check out, put that heating unit to rest, open up that cooling unit, or make sure your air purification system is working properly. I have had Welter do work at my home, and I will tell you they are professional. They give you a great quote. They were spot on with my quote, and it was done in no time. 612-825-6867. They love Garage Logic and the concept, and that's the reason that they're on this podcast. So please patronize our advertiser, Welter Heating, online at welterheating.com. Let them know you heard it from the Rook.
Kid.
I'm thrilled at that.
Hello?
Well, it is the moment of truth.
Hello?
Really quiet song.
How about some music?
I thought I hit the thing.
Screw that up because you're screwing around with nuts.
I'm not screwing
Stop playing with
anything
your
up.
nuts.
Here we go. Let's give it the old... What happened to everything here? Why is this not playing? Here's a guy that'd like to hear about North American Banking Company. Online, they're nabankco.com to learn more. You know what they got? They don't have nuts, but they have professionals to help you throughout life, Joe. Are you a business owner? Then they're going to be able to help you save some money. Check out any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks, whether they're looking to buy a home, finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you've been thinking about. My friends at North American Banking Company are going to be able to help you out. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And right now is the perfect time to use your home's equity to work. And that's because a home equity line of credit from North American Banking Company is going to give you flexible access to funds when you need them most. Whether it's a project at home or the cabin, or an unexpected expense or something else, their experts make it easy. But like I said, your first step is to check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Johnny Height.
Thank you, Chris. In economic/legislative news, House Republicans trying to vote on their multi-trillion-dollar tax breaks package as soon as today, although they've already pushed that back. They're saying it probably will be tonight at the earliest, grinding out some last-minute deal-making to shore up wavering GOP support and deliver on President Trump's top legislative priority. Trump himself yesterday had told the Republican majority to quit arguing and get it done. But GOP leaders worked late into the night trying to convince skeptical Republicans who have problems on several fronts, including worries that it'll pile onto the nation's $36 trillion debt. A fresh analysis from the Congressional Budget Office said the tax provisions would increase the federal deficit by $3.8 trillion over the decade, while the changes to Medicaid, food stamps, and other services would tally $1 trillion in reduced spending. Lowest income households in the U.S. would see their resources drop, while the highest ones would see a boost, according to the CBO. The Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center says 60% of the tax cuts would go to the top 20% of the households. More than one-third would go to those making $460,000 or more. Middle-income households would get an average tax cut of about 2.4% on their after-tax revenue. Target's challenge to revive sales and its status as a cheap retailer just got a little more complicated. They announced this morning their sales fell more than expected in the first quarter, and the retailer warned they will slip for all of 2025, worried over the impact of tariffs in the economy. They say with that happening, customers will be pulling back on spending. Target also said that customer boycotts did some damage during the last quarter. The company, long a fierce corporate advocate for the rights of Black and LGBTQ plus people, scaled back many diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in January after they came under attack by conservative activists and the White House. Target's retreat then created another backlash, with more customers angered by the retailer's reduction of LGBTQ plus themed merchandise for Pride Month in June of 2023. Company also unveiled a leadership shakeup this morning, signaling greater urgency around the company's need to jumpstart sales. To combat investor concerns about slow growth, they've created an Enterprise Acceleration Office, overseen by the company's Chief Operating Officer, Michael Fidelki.
Does the internet at all figure into their financial demise, competing with the internet?
I would think it would.
But I'm looking for numbers and stats. Did you see anything like that in the story, John?
I did not. No.
All right.
A New Orleans jail maintenance worker arrested for helping those 10 inmates escape last week. The 33-year-old employee, who says he acted under duress, says he was threatened, shut off water in a jail cell, allowing the inmates to remove a toilet and sink fixture, dig a hole, and flee. Before leaving, they scrawled messages on the cell wall that said, "We innocent," and "Too easy, LOL."
We
So
gone.
they spelled two wrong.
Two spelled T-O instead of T-O-O.
Little trouble
That's
there.
I've done that in podcast descriptions.
Yeah.
We're going to meet up with family. MEAT.
Believe me, Chris, we know.
We know.
MEAT would be the way.
We're going to meet up with the family.
Yeah, that sounds like another Chris mistake.
But here's the question, because when I read this, if he was acting under duress by shutting off the water, digging a hole, that's going to take a few days.
They had nothing but time.
Yeah.
They had a lot of
The
time.
inmates dug the hole.
It would take a
Thank you,
That
John, I'm
means
aware.
they crawled out through a sewer pipe?
No, that's a different movie.
Hole and flee.
It would
Yeah.
take a man 20 years.
No,
to dig
but
out.
they removed the toilet for the hole.
Right.
So
Yes.
wouldn't that would be right through the sewer pipe, wouldn't it?
That's what I assumed, but perhaps I'm wrong. I have no idea.
How about the
Have
other
you-
5 guys that just wanted to get out? And the one guy says, "No, let me stop and take some time and write him a little note." And they're like, "Are you crazy? Let's just go."
Were they like
I
that?
find it very interesting that
Yeah.
when the heat got on, you dug yourself a hole.
I think you brought up a legitimate point, Joe.
course I
You've
did.
replaced a wax ring or two in your life, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we're looking at a hole this big.
Right.
Not big enough for these guys to get through.
I couldn't put my leg through it.
So they had to expand it,
They must have dug a hole around it, perhaps, then.
like a Hogan's Heroes thing.
Exactly. 4 of the 10 have been recaptured.
You think they came out in a tree stump? God, I've always wanted a tree stump with hollowed out.
Like a Hogan's Heroes deal?
Yeah.
And they're still inside the yard.
When I build my fallout shelter and I'm going to bury one of those big shipping crate things, that's how I'm going to get in and out of it.
Don't you remember the great case from the Gumption Institute for the Criminally Incompetent, where the kids were in a mall and they were going to jump through the roof to get to the jewelry store, and they had a chainsaw and everything. They jumped through and they were on the sidewalk outside.
Right.
They're on the overhang.
That's why we had to found the institute.
Yes.
There's just too many dummies.
That's right.
Yeah. 6 are still at large. They have captured 4 of the 10. So
At large.
the Senate has confirmed real estate developer Charles Kushner, the father of President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to serve as ambassador to France. You might remember he was in the news recently. Charles Kushner pardoned by Trump after pleading guilty years earlier to tax evasion and making illegal campaign donations. Prosecutors say he hatched a scheme for revenge and intimidation after discovering his brother-in-law was cooperating with federal authorities in an investigation. So he hired a prostitute and arranged to have the encounter recorded with a hidden camera and then sent to his sister, who was, of course, the man's wife. Kushner, who was confirmed 5145, is the founder of Kushner Companies, a real estate firm. His son Jared, former White House senior advisor to Trump, who's married to Trump's eldest daughter, Ivanka. George Wendt, the American actor and comedian who earned 6 consecutive Emmy nominations for his performance as Norm Peterson on Cheers, died Tuesday. He was 76. His death confirmed by his publicist, saying George was a doting family man, a well-loved friend, and confidant to all those who was lucky enough to have known him. Wentz started at Second City in the 1970s before he became a television actor. His affinity for comedy made him a regular on SNL through the 90s. Of course, he was one of the fellas who joined Chris Farley during the Chicago Superfan sketches. Born October 17, 1948 in Chicago, he attended the University of Notre Dame before going to Jesuit Rockhurst College, where he graduated with a degree in economics. After Cheers elevated him to stardom, the actor had no trouble scoring supporting roles for the rest of his career. Film credits included Fletch, Gung Ho, Spice World, among others.
He was great in Fletch.
I don't remember him. Isn't that weird?
He was like the bum on the beach. He was a friend, and he ratted out some guys to Fletch. He did a great job.
That was
the
right
original Fletch?
Yeah.
That was right in your wheelhouse when you were working in the theater, wasn't it?
Totally in wheelhouse.
Wendt turned to theater in the latter portion of his career. In 2008, he took over the role of Edna Turnblad, traditionally performed by an actor in drag in the then-ongoing Broadway production of Hairspray. He would reprise the role at a production in the Charlottesville Town Festival. He also featured as Santa in Broadway's Elf, the musical, and played Willie Loman.
He was a real-life Animal House. He graduated from Campion High School, a Jesuit boarding school in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, attended the University of Notre Dame until he was expelled after receiving a 0.00 GPA in the first semester of his junior year.
Nice.
There was
0.00. I mean, he must have never gone to class.
He didn't show up.
The minimum.
Yeah. You know what? He wasn't feeling it.
Well, it said due to challenges associated with living in an off-campus apartment without transportation during the winter.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
And
That's what he
Miller
told
Lite.
Mom and Dad, yeah.
And now, with a review of the sitcom Cheers, here's Joe Souchere.
I thought it was great.
I loved that show.
Loved
There
it.
was somebody that assembled every single entrance that he made to the bar. It's like an 18-and-a-half-minute long clip on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I watched about 5 or 6. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I have a bunch of them here, in fact, not audio, but just the things, because I had them for some reason in my email for 20 years. It's the oldest email I saved. All of the, hey, Normie, pour you a beer, Mr. Peterson? All right, but stop me at 1. Make that 1:30. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Isn't it a little early, Mr. Peterson?
For a beer?
For a beer? No, never mind. I can't remember what he said.
Isn't it a little early? Can I pour you a beer, Mr. Peterson? It's a little early, isn't it, Woody? For a beer? No, for stupid questions.
Right. I'm wearing dog bone underwear.
Yeah, what's happening, Norm? It's a dog-eat-dog world.
Dog-eat-dog world, and I'm eating
I got milk
bone underwear.
Gee, it's a good thing I don't have all these in writing in front of me so we can get them right.
He says, and I'm eating milk bone underwear.
Let's try again. How's it going, Mr. Peterson? It's a dog-eat-dog world, Woody, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
There it is.
There we go.
Wait a minute. No, we can't. We can't.
What did he do for a living? Did we ever learn?
He was a
that?
mailman.
No, that was
Cliff.
the other guy. Did we ever learn what he did for a living?
Yeah, he was an accountant, wasn't he?
He's an accountant.
I thought he was a bean counter.
I think he was a bean counter, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that everybody's goal to have your own personal stool at a bar?
Be nice.
Yeah, the wife would love that.
Yeah, maybe when I was younger.
Right.
Not now. And a uniform Michael Jordan wore for 17 games with the Chicago Bulls during the 1992-93 NBA season sold for $2.6 million at Heritage Auctions. Jordan was shown in the jersey on the cover of the October 18th, 1993 issue of Sports Illustrated. Photo matching services McGray and Sports Investors Authentication noted that this is the only Jordan uniform that they're aware of to be matched to any season of the first Bulls three-peat.
John, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I tell you that
I think you should.
The emails keep coming in with people who are very pleased with the service they've received from Precision Door MN. I didn't mention yesterday, if you need a new garage door, Precision Garage Door has models for every budget. They send out a designer. That consultation is absolutely free. And imagine what a new door would do. It increases the home's value. It saves energy because the new doors are insulated. They're top of the line. And it improves security because you can marry all that stuff to your security panel, and they do all of that stuff. And they just fix the routine stuff, too, and they let you know when they're on their way. They serve western Wisconsin, the entire metro area. Call Precision Garage Door at 612-263-6985, or you can use the interwebs if you want to schedule an appointment or your free on-site new door estimate. By the way, they're throwing in the motor if you get a new door. That's a value of more than $760. PrecisionDoorMN.com.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
In the Bay Area of San Francisco, birds are exploding. They're just exploding.
Why are they
All
exploding?
right, you've got my attention.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna. It's a. They're exploding and falling out of the sky mid-flight, and we have the audio of this story from a news station in the Bay Area. Right?
I believe it's ABC 7.
Okay, ABC News. Here's what they had to say about this.
It's a mystery. I think that's how we all feel. Is it's inexplicable.
If what's happening along Bernhardt Avenue in Richmond is a mystery, then these are the neighborhood detectives.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Residents say what has been happening high along this power line since February just isn't adding up.
Sounded like a firecracker, and a black, I think it was a starling, just plummeted to the ground.
They say there have been more than 50 instances of birds dying along this top power line. Video from a nearby Ring camera shows the moment it happens. Listen for the loud crack. A bird then falls to the ground.
Super traumatic to see this.
Neighbors say after hanging up awareness posters like these and repeated calls to PG&E, there was little action. When a worker came out to inspect the line,
He literally seemed like befuddled.
After reporting on the story Sunday night, on Monday, PG&E told ABC7 that they reached out to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to evaluate several of the dead birds. In a statement, PG&E said Fish and Wildlife shared that the birds show no evidence of electrocution and that their deaths were caused by trauma, potentially from a pellet or BB gun or a slingshot.
But I feel like a BB gun doesn't make a firecracker noise.
And I can't fathom somebody could be that accurate all the time.
PG&E also said they do not believe that there was an issue with our electrical equipment and agrees that these birds were not electrocuted.
I know where the sound is coming from, and it's coming from up on the pole.
That particular wire does sizzle and arc at times.
We reached out to the Department of Fish and Wildlife, who confirmed PG&E's statement, but reiterated the cause of death was not clear. For the residents along Barnhard, whatever the cause, something needs to be done sooner than later.
We just want it solved, like at the end of the day.
In Richmond, Dion Lynn, ABC7.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird.
I'm picturing when Randy Johnson exploded.
Oh, yeah.
Just feathers exploding everywhere.
That's what happened. And they're trying to tie it to the power lines, but the birds are blowing up in the air.
I don't know what you're seeing, but it ain't us.
Why does the word trauma make me laugh?
Because it's California.
Oh, it's so precious.
Yeah.
They've been
Oh my
suffering
God!
trauma.
Can you imagine the kids watching?
But my favorite part is she says, "Listen to the loud crack."
It
Bam!
sounded
Boom!
like
It's
somebody
just a
hitting
little
home
like a
run.
cap gun.
Or the kid in the band that's got the two.
No, it was weak. That's the point. It was not noisy.
Gotcha.
Not two cymbals.
Oh.
Boom!
God, that's funny.
So I don't know what accounts for exploding birds, but that's a shame.
Well, if they're exploding above these power lines, do you feel safe living beneath them?
No.
I've got a rogue power line that has killed a couple of things in the last 2 years, including this spring a swan. You know, these swans are about the size of an airplane.
Right.
And we think that the swan was flying along and clipped the wire. And it laid there in the field for about 2 weeks. Every car that went by would slow down and take a picture of it.
But that wouldn't kill the bird because the
I don't
bird
think it was
wasn't grounded
electricity.
when it hit the wire.
I don't
I've
know.
learned my stuff from our guy at the fair.
Well, explain this then, Joe. A couple of years ago, the same spot, there was a raccoon, a baby raccoon drooped over the wire, and it sat up there and hung up there for a month.
I
How
thought
did
there
that
had
thing
to.
get
I
there?
thought if squirrels and birds could be on a live wire because they weren't grounded.
I think what we finally decided on was that an eagle or some other predator had it.
And hung
then
it there.
accidentally dropped it, and it just by coincidence ended up on the wire.
Everyone has heard that the bird is the word.
That's right, Cheryl. On this is on this day.
Oh, we're already there.
Well,
only because.
Well, you know, and I was going to tell you, speaking of birds, you have revived birds.
I do.
In the past that run into your windshield.
I do.
Or
Windows.
your windows at home. And we have this all day, every day. Birds are hitting our window.
Yeah.
One of them, a week or so ago, laid out there for a good 15 minutes.
I could have saved that bird.
And then it woke up.
Yeah.
shook
and had
itself
the musical
off.
notes over its head.
Yes, shook itself off and flew away.
Yeah. Only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans at Marloth Park in Mpumalanga province, South Africa. It was on this day.
Joe, today is May 21st.
Well, on this day in 1839, Donald McDonald received his, that's like
clever.
Dinky Dark Nights or whatever. Donald McDonald received the first steamboat shipment of cargo to the settlement that later became St. Paul. 6 barrels of whiskey were delivered to McDonald's.
Priorities first.
Were delivered to McDonald's shop called the Halfway House in Inyan Teepee. Stone House, also called Fountain Cave. Hey, isn't the Bruce Vento Nature Trail going to be named something like Inyan Teepee? It's in that same area.
Yes.
It's in that same area. On this day,
May 21st.
in 1882, Mark Twain visited St. Paul while compiling research for his book, Life on the Mississippi, which he published the following year.
Yes, did he arrive by steamboat?
He wasn't British.
He was greeted by
He wasn't greeted by anybody British.
a captain well seasoned.
On this,
In his hometown. Where's he from?
Hannibal, Missouri.
Very good.
Thank you. I didn't get this.
On this day,
May 21st.
I stole it. From
in 1927, Charles Lindbergh, a native of Little Falls, landed the Spirit of St. Louis outside Paris, sealing his achievement as the first person to complete a nonstop solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean.
And what is this birdless contraption that you have here that you've arrived in?
On this day,
May 21st.
in 1934, during the Minneapolis Teamster strike, violence erupted between picketers blocking trucks driven by non-unionists and an army hired by the Citizens Alliance, a union of local employers. 30 Minneapolis policemen and a number of Army deputies were hospitalized after the brawl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On this day,
May 21.
in 1961, in Metropolitan Stadium's first sellout, the Twins lost a doubleheader to Cleveland before a crowd of 30,999.
Wait a minute. We waited to May 21st to sell out that place?
That's a good question. Wouldn't you have sold
what's
out
the problem here?
Sold out the opener?
Thought we were a hardy bunch back then.
And finally, on this day,
That is where Abner Doubleday did not take the world serious. Oh, that's it. The world serious.
on this day,
May 21st,
in 1972, Forestville State Park was formally dedicated, having been open to the public since 1968. And it was on this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history
that us weak asses waited till the 21st to sell out Met Stadium on May 21st.
This is a rather confusing one. On this day,
May 21,
in 1980, turn Kenny's mic off.
Uh-oh.
A blow-up doll delayed the Twins White Sox game.
Hey now.
What the hell was that? A blow-up doll.
Do you want to see one?
Did the doll blow up? Maybe that's what they meant.
Ken?
On this day.
Did she come out of, where did she?
And I was there.
You know what? I do have it here. The blow-up doll looked very surprised.
Yeah.
Hey now.
On this day, I happen to have attended this.
Oh, part of history, are you?
The blow-up doll celebration.
On this day, in 1981, the North Stars lost the Stanley Cup to the Islanders.
I remember that.
Doesn't that sound like something Vec would do? Hand the first 100 customers in the joint of
Here you go.
doll.
Here you go. Here you go.
How old are you? 17. Here
And
you go.
on this day,
on May 21st,
in 2022, the Vixen lost at St. Louis because they wouldn't turn the lights on.
Oh, no.
Wow.
What the hell sport is that?
That's wasn't that female football?
Soccer,
the Vixen?
maybe?
No, Vixen is female football.
Well, anyway.
And why do you know this thing?
Well, I only know that because we worked with someone who played for the Vixen.
There's a bit of confusion in these sports disappointments.
Talk to me.
Well, for example, Vixen lost at St. Louis because they didn't turn the lights on. Does that mean that St. Louis was able to play in the dark and they won? Or does it mean the game was forfeited?
It's a mystery.
Well, it's a disappointment, isn't it? It's a damn disappointment.
You look into that, Columbo.
Shame is what it is.
I have the attendance for the first game ever at Met Stadium.
Yeah.
April 21st, because you asked about opening day, why they didn't sell it out. April 21st, 1961, against the Washington Senators, 24,606 fans.
Well, you got to remember, there were no left field bleachers. It was
Twins
it was
versus
just a
Senators.
one deal.
Right.
Interesting.
Baseball was coming here. Come on, Ma. Let's take the kids to the
I don't even think
ball
bleachers
game.
down the third baseline were installed yet, much less left field, outfield.
Okay.
Well, I think if you wrote a book about that stadium, you should know everything.
I do. That's why I said that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much, GLS.
Yeah, GLS. Appreciate you.
Please do us a favor and hit subscribe. Smash that like button on the Garage Logic YouTube channel, where you can interact with the almost 15,000 subscribers that we have on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. It's one of the neat features about the show going live on YouTube each and every single day at noon is you can interact with the show live, and you can also see full segments, some video shorts. There's behind the scenes footage in some cases, but it's all there for you on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. And you can follow us along on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to sign up for the Daily Logician. That email comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. You can sign up right now and find out more by visiting the website, which is, of course, garagelogic.com.